What's up, YouTube? This is Ryan from AnnihilatorMTG here, and I'm back again with some more Modern. Today we're going to be playing Ad Nauseam. The reason that we're playing Ad Nauseam is because, truth be told, I could really use a linear build right now. Facing off against some of the 4-color decks and other Uro shells in the format is really exhausting. I'm not 100% on this specific list at the moment, and definitely feel like we could make some tweaks to better accommodate for the meta, but this should be good enough. That's usually the case with Ad Nauseam. With that said, let's not waste any time here and head straight into the first match. Alrighty, it looks like we found our opponent, and not just any opponent, Seth, better known as Saffron Olive. Okay, so I think we can keep this hand. This is fine. I like Serum Visions early. Pentad Prism is great. We just need to find an Angel's Grace and a few more lands. Totally keepable. Alright, Seth, what are you playing? Alright, Temple Garden, I like that. And a bird, a nice bird. Well, this should be fun. Alright, we draw for turn, hitting a Spirit Guide. That's fine. Let's go Temple. Ooh, there's the Angel's Grace. Okay, so far so good. We'll hard pass. Hopefully he doesn't have a lot of artifact destruction. Blood Moon, my lord. Whoa. Okay, well, that's fun. Let's go... This is tough, isn't it? We can go Manamorphose, make 2 different colors, then go Pentad Prism. All right, let's try it. Let's just do like blue-black, Pentad Prism. Okay, let's go like this. All right, honestly, that was a pretty tough decision. Seth goes Noble, no problem. Interesting deck. All right, we draw. Lightning Storm, that's not quite it. Let's see here. Hold on, we can go Pentad Prism and just go 1 color. Yeah, we can. We can do that. Super interesting. Okay, so we just have it next turn, right? Holy smokes, we might just have this. I'm worried about like a Spell Queller, but with these colors, that doesn't seem super likely. He gets a Misty, or a Mountain, technically. Dear Lord, what is this? Jace. Super Friends, Blood Moon. Yeah, that is rad. Let's see. Let's arrange it like this. Something like that. All right, I still think we have the win, but that's really cool. All right, we draw for turn. Temple. Well, that's good. I guess the interesting question is do we want to play a land or do we want to hold it in hand specifically for playing one of our basics? So we should be able to do just this. Let's go Angel's Grace, Spirit Guide, Ad Nauseam, and Seth scoops it up. Okay. Oh boy. All right. Echoing Truth is really tempting in a matchup like this for sure, because we can just bounce the Blood Moon. We can float the mana, bounce the Blood Moon in response. Like, that's pretty good, right? Bontus seems interesting for sure, because we can, like, destroy the mana dorks. Do we even need the packs is an interesting question. I don't think we do. Do we just go with the Echoing Truth and retry this? Honestly, a part of me is saying keep a pact or 2 just in case, but I think we can try it like this and just see how it goes. Okay, so this hand is pretty much Blood Moon proof, which is great. So I think we'll keep. The downside is we have neither piece of the combo, but we definitely have all the mana in the world to do whatever we want. All right, so he goes Windswept Heath into a forest, Utopia Sprawl. Sure. At this point, I'd be more afraid of like a Stone Rain rather than a Blood Moon, or, you know, whatever the equivalency is, Pillage, I guess. There's the Ad Nauseam. Let's go Temple. We'll yield. City of Brass, we could put that on the bottom. Let's suspend the Lotus Bloom. So I think we're good for now. The Slaughter Pact could be useful in certain scenarios, although you never really know. It is a great way to kind of lead into the combo, like kill a Noble or a Bird, and then just combo off from there, force them to counter this in case they're holding up blue mana or something. So red, black, green. Interesting. That's some strange stuff. All right, let's yield here. Taking off counters. We draw for turn, Angel's Grace, so we just have it. So let's go Gemstone Mine, and then we can go blue-white, go Pentad Prism, Sunburst for 2. We're literally at the point in the game where if we top deck something like a Spirit Guide, we can just win. We don't even need to necessarily wait for the Lotus Bloom, which is incredible. He cracks a Misty, no problem. Gets a Breeding Pool. All right, so this is a lot of mana. This is a lot of mana with a lot of potential, and that's, you know, a bit scary, I'll admit. He puts it in tapped, though, which is interesting. And there's a Ral. Now, what can Ral do? Tap permanent, untap another permanent, 3 damage to any target, flipping coins. Sure. I guess that is a bit of a headache, but that's fine. So he's got 3 more mana, which is absurd. Part of me thinks he's got a K command because of that specific series of mana. All right, we get a Thassa's Oracle. That's fine. Let's go City of Brass. And I think we just try to wait this one out. We basically just have to avoid flinching and, you know, like getting antsy about whether or not this is going to work. So what's crazy about this is if Seth plays a land that's what, 6 mana, and then he can untap this, so that's 9, he can literally play an Ugin or Karn and basically be fine, which is troubling. On the bright side, if we get a spoils, we can just win the other way, which is pretty great. But outside of that, we're going to have to be careful here. I wish we had like a pact. Siding those out hurts a bit. He goes Oath of Nissa. That's fine. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Yikes. That's a bit of a yikes, isn't it? All right, taps the temple. Let's go blue. That's a lot of mana. 7 mana total. He goes to Teferi. He's going to tuck the Pentad Prism. I don't think that matters. Does he have a counterspell for the Lotus Bloom? Interesting. Well, we'll see. I don't know even what he would be able to use, like a Force of Negation. That's got to be it, right? All right, we cast. It resolves, so we're fine. Do we need to worry about lands at all? I don't think so, tentatively speaking. Although we can probably just go Plains, Angel's Grace, and then jam the Ad Naus. GG, Seth. That was really cool. Alrighty, looks like we found our opponent here. Best of luck to you, my friend, and we won the die roll. Good stuff. Let's take a look. We have Angel's Grace, Lotus Bloom, a duplicate Angel's Grace, and a Slaughter Pact. This hand is relatively Thoughtseize proof, which is great. Let's suspend the Lotus Bloom, and then let's go Seachrome Coast. That's fine. Our opponent goes Basic Mountain. Okay, interesting. Let's yield there. Second Seachrome Coast. Sure, that should be fine. Our opponent draws for turn. They go second Mountain. They go Manamorphose. Sure. They go blue-red and then Stormwing. Very interesting indeed. So I think we can likely just go Slaughter Pact on it and then just pay with like the Gemstone Mine. We could also just Angel's Grace, but I don't want to mess with that personally. You can use Angel's Grace. For those who are unaware, you can use Angel's Grace to bypass any pact. You basically just play the Angel's Grace and then don't pay and then you don't lose, which is kind of insane, but really cool at the same time. All right, let's go Gemstone Mine, then let's go Pentad Prism. We shall pass. I think here what we can literally do is just Slaughter Pact no matter what. There's a Sprite Dragon, that's fine, because we can just pay for it, which is great, honestly. We can also just take the 4 damage and not reveal that we have a Slaughter Pact. That is also an option if we're playing for the match and not necessarily the game. Let's just Slaughter Pact, get it over with. All right, good stuff. Our opponent goes Mutagenic Growth. Gross. All right, 4/4. Mutagenic Growth again. What is this? Infect? I love it. Got ourselves a 7/7. Lava Dart. Okay. Our opponent swings in, hits us for a ton of damage, an absolute truckload. Let's stack things accordingly. Let's do this. Get our mana ready. Hit yes. And we don't lose. Just yet, anyways. So, what do we do here? I think we can go Cydia Brass and pass, and then we could just do like an Angel's Grace during their turn if they've got enough to just kill us. Otherwise, we can do like end step spoils, get an Ad Naus, and all we really need to do is just dodge hitting enough Simian Spirit Guides. Even then, we should be fine. We should have enough mana pretty much no matter what. All right, so our opponent's jamming spells. They go Opt, they go Gut Shot, no problem. Honestly, this looks like a very fun deck. I've seen this several times, and it's very reminiscent of some of the decks that you would see back when Infect was like the top dog in Modern, when it would have like Gitaxian Probe and everything, which was just nuts. It was just absolutely crazy. Lava Dart, interesting. Well, looks like we're going to have to go Angel's Grace here, unfortunately. Let's yield to that. Angel's Grace. Take a bunch of damage, but it's not enough. Okay, we untap, we draw, Pentad Prism, that's decent, not quite it. Let's go Angel's Grace. It's got split second, so they can't do anything about that. Then let's go Spoils. Let's name Ad Naus. We didn't lose a single Spirit Guide, so that's tremendous. We cast, and we're off to the races. All right, sideboard time, good stuff. So here, Leyline is an interesting idea, probably better than Pact. It's just whether or not it's enough to add in copies 3 and 4, or if we just want to go with what we have now and have a more streamlined, consistent deck. I think, quite honestly, we can probably just ship it like this. Alrighty, let's take a look at what we have here. I think because we have the Phyrexian Unlife, this should be good enough. It's not necessarily the most combo-heavy hand. We've got bits and pieces, but that's completely fine. I'm totally fine to just draw into what we need. And with Phyrexian Unlife, that gives us the time. All right, so our opponent goes Steam Vents. Perhaps they sided in some aggressive counterspells, which is completely fine. We can totally add in some packs afterwards, but we'll have to see. They go Opt in response to our Temple trigger. Okay, sure. I wonder if in the history of Magic anyone has ever stifled a Temple trigger. We'll put the Pentad Prism on top. That'll be a great turn 2 play. And coincidentally, we'll be able to just jam the Unlife without even touching it on turn 3. And then if we can get an Ad Nauseam on turn 4 at some point in between, we'll be okay. All right, there's a Sprite Dragon, going Mutagenic Growth, going hardcore here. They're swinging in big time. A part of me wonders if this deck should just be playing like Grixis and you add in like Death Shadows and stuff. That would be cool. Let's go Pentad Prism. Still don't really want to go Slaughter Pact on the Sprite Dragon just yet. It's, you know, just kind of one of those things where it's like I only really want to use it if I have to. They swing in for 2, tentatively. It's probably going to be way more than that. Ooh, is that it? Interesting. Oh, I wonder if they have a Blood Moon or something. That would be pretty annoying. They go Soulscar Mage, sure. That's actually pretty tame. And there's the Ad Nauseam. Okay. That's good. That's really good, in fact. Let's go Unlife. And now we just gotta survive, which should be really easy with an Unlife. Of course, I say we need to survive, but we also need to not have our Ad Nauseam countered in any way, and we really have no way of protecting against that. So a part of me is considering going like Slaughter Pact right now, just to be like, hey, do you have something? Just kind of experiment like that. I'll let it through, because I don't really care about, 3 damage? That's nothing. Okay. Boy, I really think they don't have anything, but let's try it either way. Let's go Slaughter Pact. It worked. All right, we go Ad Naus. Okay. Now, we don't have Pact of Negations to protect us here. That is kind of a huge deal, but I think we should be fine. Our opponent hasn't really showed that they have anything at all. And I think when I Slaughter Pacted their Sprite Dragon, it looked a lot like they just F6'd, which is fine. That's a really good indicator that they have absolutely nothing. All right, we got the whole shebang here. Let's go Spirit Guide, Spirit Guide, Spirit Guide. Alrighty. At that point, then we're going to go Lightning Storm, right click, discard a land. That makes 5. That makes 7 damage. That makes 9, 11, 13, 15, 17. And let's do 19 for good measure. So we're just going to yield to those triggers. And yeah, it looks like our opponent's trying to do the whole discard a land in response thing. Doesn't really do anything. And that's that. GG's. Alrighty, looks like we found our opponent here. Best of luck to you, my friend, and won the die roll. Good stuff. This hand is decent. We've got Pentad Prisms, which can accelerate us pretty darn fast, actually. And we have a Spirit Guide, a Thassa's Oracle. This is certainly doable. It's not like the best in the world, but I would say this is definitely above a 50, for sure. Alright, we're going to go City of Brass and then pass. What are you playing, opponent? What are you playing? They go Flooded Strand. That's fun. Pact of Negation, that could be useful against what our opponent's going with. Let's go City of Brass number 2, and just go Pentad Prism. Cracking the Flooded Strand. Okay, what have you got for me? Plains. I was going to say, are we going to see a Mana Tithe? Because if we saw a Mana Tithe, I would be actually happy about that, oddly enough. So our opponent draws a card. They go slightly different Flooded Strand. Okay. We draw Island. Interesting. Let's go Plains. We'll tap Pentad Prism number 2. So this is good. The main problem here is we don't just need 1 or 2 spells. We need 2 very specific spells to combo off with even our alternative combo. So it's a bit tough to be in this position. It's not that anything's going wrong per se. It's just, you know, tough. Our opponent goes Lightning Helix. I am not used to seeing Lightning Helix in a Jeskai build. I just think that people like trimmed on these a lot, I thought, because I thought like the new Jeskai thing was like the Cleansing Wildfire build. I don't even know if they play Helix. Either way, our opponent plays an island, and we draw a Serum Visions. Hopefully that will help us a bit. Let's go for it. Spoils, that's good. Interesting. Spoils, second spoils. We could spoils for Angel's Grace and then do the combo. Or do we just put the spoils on the bottom? I don't know. I think I'll just put it on the bottom. We'll just try it that way. Try to draw it somewhat organically. Especially if what we end up doing is drawing an Ad Nauseam or an Angel's Grace, then we can just spoils for the other one and do things that way. They go Bolt. Wow. Is this like tempo? That is really cool if it is. I haven't seen like Jeskai tempo in a long time. Not in the pure sense anyways. They go Islet. They pass. We draw. Visions. Sure. Let's go Serum Visions. Phyrexian Unlife, Ad Nauseam. Okay, that'll do just fine. Let's put Serum Visions on the bottom, Ad Naus on top. We're going to tap out, go Unlife, Spell Queller. Interesting. We can go Pact, and then we can go Spoils, name Ad Nauseam during the upkeep in response to the Pact trigger, name Ad Nauseam, cast Ad Nauseam, and then just be good to go, right? Like, that's certainly good enough. It has to be, right? Yeah, why not? Let's try it. Worst comes to worst, we can literally just pay for it if we want. All right, they draw for turn. They've got 5 cards in hand. I am legitimately worried about them just having a counterspell to the Ad Nauseam, which case that's, you know, kind of awful. They play a Colonnade. Of course, they can just counter the Spoils as well, which is, you know, deeply unfortunate. Let's go Spoils. It's resolved, so that's interesting. Name Ad Nauseam, draw Ad Nauseam. Let's go cast it. Wow, incredible. Okay. I was also just thinking at the same time, we probably could have just done some kind of Phyrexian Unlife with the Thassa's Oracle Spoils thing. I don't know why I completely forgot that that combo even existed, which is just, you know, old patterns, right? This was one of my first, not my first like modern deck, but one of the first modern decks that I actually played, even when I wasn't like in the mood to, just to get better. Let's go Spirit Guide, Spirit Guide, Spirit Guide, Lightning Storm. Helix would take them to 21, so let's do 21. And now we just got to resolve the triggers. They go Fact or Fiction. How much do we care about that? Not very, right? Sure. Let's go like this. Doesn't matter too much. I mean, this just gives us extra information, which is peculiar. I don't know why they think we don't have enough lands. I think we probably should. Okay, they're still trying. You know, usually when I play Ad Nauseam, no one ever tries to do this because it's never worked. I don't think a single time. I've never even heard of this working. All right, we choose them. And there we have it. Okay. So control/tempo, interesting deck. I don't know if we're necessarily worried at all about the burn aspects of it. So it's very likely that we're just going to put in the full playset of packs. I don't know if we care about Leyline. It might be interesting to just put one in and be like, hey, if it works, right? But I don't necessarily know if we need to do that. So let's see. Let's like trim on one Prism. We'll submit like this. All right, let's take a look at this hand. We've got a couple of lands, a Bloom, a Pact. This is actually quite good. An Angel's Grace as well. Yeah, this is definitely a very good hand, actually. Really only needs time and an Ad Nauseam or Spoils, and we can pretty much get there no matter what. Our opponent goes down to 6. That's fun. That's always a good time, especially if they're playing some kind of like counter burn strategy. Either way, let's go Temple. We'll yield. Pentad Prism. That's good. Is that what we need, though? I don't think so. Our opponent cracks a Flooded Strand. That's interesting. Oh, we almost forgot to suspend the Lotus Bloom. That would have been bad. That would have been really, really bad. Our opponent goes Opt. Well, all right. Let's suspend. See what you got, opponent. They draw a card. They're at 6. Make that 5. They play a land. Another Flooded Strand. That's no problem. Okay. Let's yield to the Lotus Bloom. Save a little bit of time. We draw Gemstone Mine. That's okay. Let's go Temple. We'll yield. Spirit Guide, don't need that. Don't even want that anywhere near the top, actually. Not bad. Our opponent cracks the Flooded Strand. No problem. They get a Triome. They play another Flooded Strand. Sure. Downtake the Lotus Bloom. We draw. Seachrome Coast. That's fine. It's not necessarily what you're looking for, but it's all right. They crack the Flooded Strand. They get a Hollowed Fountain. Put it in tapped. Sure. They untap and draw. They go Scalding Tarn. Lots of expeditions here. Final counter off of the Lotus Bloom suspend. We cast. Let's see if they go like Cryptic Command counter bounce. That would be interesting. Phyrexian Unlife. That's not necessarily what we're looking for. It's good bait, that's for sure. Let's go Phyrexian Unlife. Will we see a counterspell? They crack the Scalding Tarn. They put it in untapped, sure, and it resolves, which is odd, so this must be a Fact or Fiction. Totally valid. It's a good card. I do miss the days of Sphinx's Revelation, though, for sure. That was a great card in Jeskai, even if it was just for fun. They go Snap. What is a Snap Opt? That's really not that big of a deal at all. Why would they need to put that in untapped? That does not make even a lick of sense. It's like they decided to counter the Unlife and then decided against it, but after they put the land in, unless they have got a second opt, which no, they don't. Interesting. All right, well, they're at 6 cards, 5 lands, and 5 cards in hand now. Interesting. They swing in with a snap. We're at 18. All right, we draw for turn. Plains. So honestly, we don't really need to do too much in terms of the rest of our lands. So we're just going to really just pass. I guess what we could do is go second Gemstone Mine, and then like that's our final land that we actually need to quote unquote play. Then the rest of them could just be reserved for basically ammo for the Lightning Storm. All right, so they play their 6th land, Arid Mesa, another expedition, of course. They swing in with a snap, 16. The problem here is I'm starting to get worried about double counters. some kind of like counter war, that's going to be difficult, especially with what we're doing. That means that we need to draw like exactly runner. Spoils, interesting. Well, we can make that work, that's for sure. Geez, I guess what it comes down to is do we go now or do we wait? Well, let's try it. Let's try it now. Let's go spoils. Name Ad Naus. We lose a lot, including the lightning storm. Oh boy, okay, that's not good. Guess we just try it now. Let's go Angel's Grace. Well, let's give it a whirl. And it resolved? What are they waiting for then? Well, this doesn't make any sense. We have so many different packs. Unless they saw that the lightning storm was gone. So then they were just like, oh, okay, it's over basically, but it's really not. We do this, then that. Then we go exile, Metamorphose. They crack their Arid Mesa, sure, no problem. Unless they have a Counterflux, that's a good card, or Dovin's Veto. We can't beat that at all, I don't think. All right, pack number 1. They go Logic Knot. Pack number 2. Beautiful. All right, let's go blue, Thassa's Oracle. Hit OK. They go Lightning Bolt. Pack number 3. And there we have it. Ad Nauseam once again proving itself to be a wildly consistent deck, and at the same time, it's a ton of fun to play. I know that not everyone necessarily feels that way, but hey, I think this deck is sweet. I want to give a special shout out to Seth or Saffron Olive. Every single time I've ever run into him online, he has been an absolute class act and a joy to play with. If for whatever reason you guys aren't subbed to him, by all means do so. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon. You guys know the drill. And as always, stay safe out there and have a good one.